and the coffee. Distinguished guests, so welcome to this National Climate Outlook to disseminate March to May this year, the seasonal forecast and kickoff of the workshop of providing high-resolution climate projection in Rwanda. My name is Basil Uwimana. I work for the Ministry of Environment in charge of communication and outreach, and I will be your host, your MC for today's event. So without further ado, let me welcome the Director General of Meteo Rwanda to give his opening remarks. Ikaze Deje.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I would like to express my gratitude to you all who have taken your time from your busy schedule and come to join with us in the National Climate Outlook Forum, NCOF, to this important event of disseminating the seasonal forecast for March to May 2024, the season known as Ry'Itumba in Kinyarwanda. It is also the opportunity to kick off a project aiming to provide high-resolution climate projections in Rwanda. You have been with us in this noble journey for several years, and we highly appreciate your contribution and support in this endeavor of disseminating weather and climate services and products. This is a vital event for us, which is always organized in collaboration with partners every beginning of rainfall season, and it has served as an important platform for bringing together our key stakeholders on weather and climate information services to discuss about the performance of the previous rainfall seasons, review of the associated impacts in different socioeconomic sectors, and provide prediction for the upcoming season. In recent past, changes in weather and climate have increasingly caused extreme climatic events that affected lives and livelihood of many people in Rwanda. In the end of the last season, farmers have also been facing some challenges of heavy and consecutive rainfall, which have extremely affected their harvesting and post-harvesting handling activities. The manifestation of El Nino, which started last year, 2023, up to date, have persistently caused heavy downpour over the country. The demands of weather and climate information services have continued to increase because of invested effort to create awareness on access, use, and integrate the available information services into plans and decision-making to manage risks and impact of climate change that is affecting different socioeconomic sectors. This has been hence a call for fostering co-production framework in tailored weather and climate impacts-based products for specific sectors' use. This has been possible through user engagement efforts, and we continued encouraging and supporting co-production processes that aimed at designing fit-to-purpose products and appropriate advisories. I wish to thank you once again and wish you a fruitful deliberations. Batumirwa bacu kandi inshuti, munyemerere ngira amagambo make mvuga no mu rurimi rwacu. Nagira ngo mbanze mbashimire buri wese uko turi hano, uko mwemeye kwigomwa umwanya wanyu muri byinshi mufite byo gukora, mukaza kuba muri kumwe natwe kuri uyu munsi muri iki gikorwa cyo gusubiza amaso inyuma gatoya, tukareba uko igihembwe gishize cyagenze, ariko ahanini tunareba imbere, ese igihembwe cy'itumba kigiye gukurikiraho kizaba cyifashe gute. Ni urugendo tubashimira ko muhorana natwe igihe cyose, kuko ni ibintu bisaba ubufatanye kandi buhoraho, kandi tunabashimira ko bukomeza kwiyongera. Ibyinshi rero bigerwaho kubera ubwo bufatanye, ni nayo mpamvu n'uyu munsi tuba twifuje kubana namwe kugira ngo dukomereze hamwe urugendo tumarazemo igihe dukorana, rugamije gutegurira hamwe amakuru ajyanye n'ubumenyi bw'ikirere kugira ngo yifashishwe mu bikorwa byacu bya buri munsi, haba mu igenamigambi cyangwa se ishyirwa mu bikorwa by'ibikorwa byacu bya buri munsi. Kuri uyu munsi rero twishimiye kuba turi kumwe namwe, aho tugiye kurebera hamwe uko igihembwe gishize cy'imvura, aricyo tumenyere ku izina ry'umuhindo, uko cyagenze. Iyo tuvuze ngo uko cyagenze, tuba tureba ibyari biteganijwe ndetse n'uko byagenze. Turarebera hamwe kandi nuko n'ikigiye gukurikiraho ari ikigembwe cy'itumba, amakuru turi butangaze uyu munsi ku bufatanye bwanyu hamwe namwe. Muri iki gihe twakomeje kugira imvura nyinshi, yatangiye gutangazwa mu kwezi kwa 8 mwaka ushize, biturutse kuri El Niño, no bushyuhe bwinshi buruba buri mu nyanja ngari cyane cyane ya Pasifika, ikomeza guteza ibibazo by'imvura nyinshi mu karere u Rwanda ruherereyemo. Ni mu karere natwe turimo, ariko hari n'utundi turere tw'isi ho muri ibi bihe hari igihe ahubwo bo babura imvura. Munyemere rero nongere mfate umwanya mbashimire, kandi kubo tutaherukanaga turagira ngo tubifurize umwaka mwiza, kuko abenshi hari igihe duhura ku ikoranabuhanga tukishyiramo ko hari twanahuye nk'uko abantu turi kumwe. Kandi nshimira n'abandi badukurikiye ku buhanga bw'ibyuma ku ikoranabuhanga, nabo turakomeza dusangira ijambo. Ujya agira ikibazo ubwo arajya cyandika mu gihe tutaramuhe umwanya wo kugira ngo atange igitekerezo, ariko nk'uko mubimenyereye, uyu ni umwanya dusangira ijambo, ntago ari Meteo Rwanda ibigiye kubagezaho amakuru gusa, kuko aya makuru tuba twarafatanyije no kuyategura. Murakoze rero, munyemere nongere mbashimire, murakoze.
Ongera amashyi menshi cyane umuyobozi mukuru w'ikigo cy'igihugu gishinzwe iteganyagihe. Thank you very much DG for your remarks. Arabivuze mu kanya, hari amakuru ari butangirwe hano. So today it will be a day for news and day for information. I would like to request for the following session. Jean-Marie, he is the senior meteorologist, who will take us through September to December last year, rainfall, seasonal performance, and its drivers. We have seen the rain very differently as we had it before. How was the drivers of it? So let me welcome Jean-Marie Iteganyigihe, the senior meteorologist, to take us through those months, September to December. Jean-Marie Iteganyigihe.
Murakoze. Thank you very much. My presentation is very short, and it's just to see how they forecasted the rainfall during September to December season last year, to compare what was forecasted and what was observed. So we start by seeing some drivers, what we based on by predicting the September to December season, and mainly the drivers was the El Nino conditions in the Pacific Oceans and the positive Indian Ocean dipole in Indian Ocean. And from that one, the above normal rainfall was predicted in all part of the country. And if we see also the record, we are going to see how the predicted rainfall was performed. And even probably we are going to share what was the impact of the rainfall on your activities. So here, this is the status of the Pacific Ocean we had before the season start. Even this is the Indian Ocean. This the Eastern Pacific Ocean was warmer than usual. Even it was warmer than the western part. And when we have these conditions, it is the El Nino condition. While this one is the Western Indian Ocean was warmer than normal, even warmer than the eastern part. And when you also this one will influence our weather with the weather conditions as well as this. So from that one and the other methodologies using to predict rainfall forecast, we have predicted the above normal rainfall, and the summary was in this map. That was the probabilistic forecast. If you can see on the scale, this when you have this color, the prediction will be below normal. This color is normal. This color is above normal. And well, when you see on the prediction, you can see the eastern part was predicted to have the high chance of being above normal than the rest of the country. But this was like around 100% of being above normal. So if now we can compare the recorded rainfall and the long-term mean. When we talk about normal rainfall, we are talking about the long-term average. This is a 40 years average rainfall for September to December. And we have a scale here, and we have the colors, where we have the yellow color. It's between 300 and 400 millimeter, and you can see it on the scale here. So where we have a lot of rains was here, and it was between 700 and 800, but it is a small part here. So this is the recorded rainfall for September to December rains. If you can see, we have above normal in many parts of the country, because for this part, this is where we have a lot of rains. Even they reached 1,200 millimeter in some stations in the Rusizi district. Also, we have an increased rains here that have reached to the 800 millimeter in this area. And it was also above normal, because the normal of this area, it's this color 500 to 600. Even in this eastern part, we have above normal, because the normal is 300 to 400, but you can see we have 400 to 500. The exceptions was this part here, which was predicted to be above normal in a previous slide. And if you see on the observations, it remains the normal. The normal conditions was recorded. So according to the probabilistic forecast, the forecast was successful at 94%. So we have also the deterministic forecast, where we try to predict the amount of rains due to different activities to inform some activities especially in agriculture. When they want to select the crop, they have to know the water requirement. So that was the map for the forecast, and that was the map of the recorded rainfall. And it was, this color was forecasted between 300 and 400 millimeter. This one, it was between 400, 500. This was between 500 and 600, 600 and 700. Then this was above 700 up to 800 millimeter. So if we come to the recorded rainfall, mostly the first thing to see in the recorded rainfall is that the patterns of the predicted rainfall was captured. Because where we have predicted to have a high amount of rainfall, this is where we get it. And where we have predicted to have less amount of rainfall, this is the areas where we recorded less amount of rainfall. So by verification, we saw that the patterns at least was captured at 90%. So in terms of amount, as you can see here, we get more than 800 millimeter. Even we reached 1,200 millimeter in a single season, while we were predicted to reach 800 millimeter. So that one was higher than the one predicted. But if you can see to the rest of the country, the predicted rainfall is the one observed. And in terms of amount of rainfall predicted and recorded, we were successful at 82%. So I think that is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean-Marie. I believe we have that session of discussions, so I hope you noted everything. Before we enter into that part, I would like to request Anthony Twahirwa. He's the division manager in meteorology, Rwanda. He will take us through the factors influencing March, April to May 2024 seasonal rainfall pattern. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to take you through the factors that contribute to rainfall, which we are experiencing within these days. So I'm taking you through about the March to May rainfall pattern. Basically, it's just the science behind what we are doing as far as the seasonal pattern is concerned. I'm going to talk about the factors that contribute to the rainfall for the season, and specifically I'm going to talk about ENSO, El Niño and Southern Oscillation Index, then Indian Ocean Dipole. Those are among the factors that contribute to the rainfall pattern within the season. Looking at the globe, this is how the globe was behaving, and since from 60s up to 2023, this is the pattern how the globe has been warming up. And the pattern is continuing. The warming is continuing day by day. So this is how the world, how the global pattern is behaving as far as temperature is concerned. Some of the factors that, yes. So as you see, this is how the graph was behaving, but some of the contributing factors are some of the potential eruptions which happen in different parts of the world. So after that eruption of Tonga, the temperature happened to move upward. So it was a contributing factor to one of those other factors which we emit within the atmosphere that makes the globe, the atmosphere, a bit warm. These are some of the ENSO patterns. Looking at how the El Nino was behaving, these are the seasons, January, Feb, March. So they combined just 3 seasons to look at how the El Nino, the warming within the global oceans, is behaving. And from January, Feb, and March, this is how the El Nino, the global warming, was behaving. Feb, March. So as of now, we are here. March, April, May. Still, we are having high warming within the equatorial Pacific, and it is almost 75%, as you can see. So we are still experiencing that warmness, and it's having far-reaching impact on us within the region. But as we continue, as the year goes on, we are seeing that it is decaying, and towards September, October, November, December, it will be down. And by then, we'll be having a La Nina kind of. Again, this is the warming from the equatorial Pacific propagating towards our region. This is the interconnectivity, the teleconnection within the global oceans. Still active, and we are having some of the influences with regard to that one. Again, this one is the warming. You can see how it is drifting towards the eastern part, the western part, the eastern part, the western part of the globe. This is how the graphical representation of how the warming was increasing. By 2023, it was still increasing. Then by 2024, it was still going up. So again, we are into that warming, and we are experiencing some of the influences because of this warming. Again, we have another predictant, the IOD, which is again influencing us, although as of now it is within the neutral condition, but we cannot rule out that it is not affecting us. Still, it is affecting us. These are some of the predictants that influence the region. So these are just to mention a few, but they are having an impact on us. As I conclude, I'm saying that ENSO pattern is still persisting. As you could have seen, the warming is persisting. And again, although the IOD is in neutral conditions, but still it is having some influence. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Anthony. So now let me take this opportunity to welcome in our room the Honorable Minister of State for the Environment, Dr. Claudine. You're most welcome. We welcome Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Germany to Rwanda. Your Excellency, welcome. So we have been, thank you. So we are opening the discussion from what we were presented here. We started with the September to December last year rainfall seasonal performance and its drivers. And then as you saw with Mr. Anthony was taking us through the factors influencing March, April to May seasonal rainfall pattern. So the floor is yours. I would like to request the team behind to bring the microphone in the middle. We have 15 minutes for the discussion, and then we'll continue the program. So you raise your hand, you introduce yourself, where you come from, and you give your point.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Florence Wamahoro. I am Deputy DG in charge of Agriculture Development in the lab. I want to thank the presentations that have been given to us. First of all, I want to congratulate the forecasting for the last season because they've been helping us in the advisory messages that we are delivered to the farmers across the season from September to December. And we really acknowledge that the warning message that have been given across the season have been really helpful. So this is an important platform to get to know how are we preparing for the upcoming season as well. Especially now that the harvesting for season A is colliding or overlapping with the preparations for season B. So it's a good news that we have rainfall for the season B Iteganyigihe, but also it is giving us hard task to make sure that post-harvest losses are minimized. So this is a good opportunity, again, to look back into our efforts, into our advisory to the farmers, and to all actors involved to be able to protect the production that we are getting in season A, and also the preparation activities for season B. I want to thank you again for this opportunity and for the forecast data that are going to help us along the process in this March-May season. Thank you.
Thank you, Florence. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Behind there is a man with a white shirt.
Thank you so much. My name's Derek Mugabo. I'm a journalist. I work for B&B FM Mwezi. So my questions are, I want to ask, what happens when, because according to the presentation we saw, it is...
Derek,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Wahaguruka.
Inachos.
Thank you.
My question is, according to the presentation you showed us, it is clear that you have at least to forecast for 2 or 3 years. And I would like to know what happens when you say something and it doesn't happen. Then another question is, goes direct to the Meteo Rwanda. What happened when those changes happen? What do you do to let the people concerned, more so these agriculturists and other people, to know that things have changed? Or the first information we gave you have got some changes. Then the last one, it's I'm like requesting, if possible, personally, I can ask for that presentation so that I can read it more to understand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Derek. I hope Anthony wrote all your concerns. We'll respond to you. Ikindi gitekerezo, or we respond to Derek's concerns.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Eric, for the questions. Yes, at times it can happen that you make a forecast and it doesn't come true and it doesn't happen the way you forecasted. Yeah, there are a number of reasons why it happens so. Maybe I should mention a few of them. you can make a forecast that it is going to rain here. Let us take an example of here. That is going to rain, then it so happens that within that time range, there happens to be a wind blowing. It blows that cloud which was going to precipitate and it takes it to another location. That is one reason. Another one, you may be having a cloud, precipitable cloud, and then all of a sudden there comes a hot air and it evaporates that kind of the cloud. So there are a number of reasons why it happens. But what do we do if we know that there are some of those challenges that could make the forecast which we issued not to come true, not to happen? What we do, because we know atmosphere changes, it changes suddenly, it changes now and then. So what we do, we normally give updates. For instance, like today, we gave a forecast in the morning for 12 hours, segmented into 6 hours. So after 6 hours, we give an update, meaning that the patterns which could have influenced the forecast that we didn't see in the earlier times when we are trying to make analysis and do the forecasting, then they are reflected in that segment of 6 hours again, meaning that every 6 hours we make an update, not only in 6 hours, even in this long range forecast which we issue for 3 months, we go on and keep on updating. For instance, now we issue different forecasts ranging from 6 hours, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, monthly, and seasonal. Those are some of the updates which could show you some of the indications which were not reflected in the forecast which we issued before. So those are some of the things we do so that we can give you the information which is reflecting the actual status of the atmosphere. It's inevitable. We cannot avoid to have some of those challenges in the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is a system which is made in such a way that whatever happens from different spheres, it ends in the atmosphere. Meaning that the atmosphere I'm talking about, we have the vegetation cover. We have the vegetation cover. Whatever happens on the vegetation cover, it ends in the atmosphere. Whatever happens on the earth, whatever happens on the water, whatever happens on the mountain with ice, all those ends up in the atmosphere, meaning that the atmosphere is having too much energy that we are not able to control and can change whatever we have forecasted within a fraction of a second. So what we do, we just keep on giving you updates to make sure that whatever has changed, you should get to know it so that it cannot affect you in one way or another. Now on the question of about the presentation, if we are for sure we are going to give you the presentation. Whoever wants it, whoever needs it, we are going to give it to you. And possibly, moderator, you allow people to ask even questions in Kinyarwanda, if it is possible. Thank you very much.
The Director General would like to add on what you're saying.
Okay, thank you very much. I wanted to recall the performance of the previous seasons. Before we issue the forecast, the next step is a verification. This is what we presented previously regarding the performance of the previous season, September to December, and then how you can just based on the statistics. The accuracy was regarding the predicted rainfall was about 90%. This prediction was made in August last year. Now, at the end of the season, in December, we conducted that verification exercise. Those are the statistics regarding that is for the seasonal forecast. But depending on the range of other forecasts, like short term or medium term, even a forecast can be beyond 90% on accuracy. All the forecasts are just subject with assigned with a probability. It can't be 100%, but we know how we can just deal with that uncertainties around the forecast. Globally, we can't have 100% forecast. It happens, but not every time. And regarding the remarks from RAB, we do appreciate that collaboration with the agriculture sector. In terms of using the climate information and services, as they mentioned, it's challenging for harvesting and post-harvesting handling activities with rain, but for sure we know how they are working on it based on the information which they have been received in advance. They know how they can use some technology. It is challenging, but with information, there is a way we can just overcome all those challenges and have also other opportunities around. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kajenza, the man behind. We used to have that rain of 15th of August, akavura kuri Assumption. And then Itumba was Ry'Itumba. Huh? Things have changed. Things have changed due to the climate change. So that's why we are here. That's why we are here. So we have to follow that atmosphere which has no boundaries, as Anthony said. But we need also to read and to analyze the data. Kajenza, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. First of all, I want just to appreciate the presentations, and also these days, even last season, and even last 2 seasons of the year, we are appreciating the Meteo Rwanda and the other partners. There is a good progress, even the accuracy and the dissemination of the weather and the climate information at the grassroots level.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you stand up?
Yeah, sorry.
Actually, Kajenza Jamari is leading a project called Ry'Itumba. He didn't introduce himself, but I did.
Yeah, thank you. Just briefly, I would like just to appreciate the good progress of Meteo Rwanda in terms of weather and forecast. So especially how they are trying to disseminate the weather and the climate information to the grassroots level, especially to the district cooperatives and so on. But I would like also to request different partners here and the government, especially Rwanda Agriculture Board, just try to translate those kind of information, how the farmers they can have access and also how they can use, and especially in the planning of the season. Especially this last season, we are challenged by the farmers. So because they have more information about the weather and the climate services, especially for the last season A, they asking the technology, available technology just to minimize the losses, especially in Iteganyigihe. So there is a good production for climbing beans. So they're asking, there is a technology like dryers to minimize the losses, but we as extensionists, we are challenged. So meaning that the weather forecasts, accuracy and dissemination, so must go parallel with the other alternative technology to minimize the losses, especially for the production. Last season you have enough production, but post-harvest was challenging with different farmers, especially in the northern province. For maize now, so lab and the other partners trying to have very different dryers, but for other crops like beans, so we are 100% challenged how we can help farmers to harvest and also to keep the quality of production. So meaning that the challenge of post-harvest is still challenging the farmers, and also the access of information and translate the information of weather and the climate services to Kinyarwanda and the other, to the farmers who cannot read and written, and so it's still challenging, meaning that we need more support in capacity building and dissemination and the use of weather and climate services information. Thank you so much for Meteo Rwanda.
Arakoze cyane Kagenza, twafata ibitekerezo bibiri tunashimira n'abadukurikiye yifashishijwe ikoranabuhanga. Abari hano mushobora no kubaza mu Kinyarwanda cyangwa se gutanga ibitekerezo mu Kinyarwanda. Nibutsa ufata ijambo guhaguruka akivuga amazina naho yaturutse ubundi agatanga ibitekerezo.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Andrew Muhire from the Ministry of Health. Thank you for the good presentations, and we are happy to be here because climate change really affects many areas and sectors. But my question is, I have two questions, simple questions. I would like to know what is the level of prediction. Is it at a district level? Do we go down? What is the last level of this prediction? Could we be able to get data on at the sector level or cell level? Another one, maybe it's around accessing some granular data that are not only the ones that we publish. Is there options like maybe having like API where we can connect directly, then we pull those data to be triangulated with the health statistics? Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. I believe the DG can react on that. The level of prediction and the API to have the data.
Thank you very much. Allow me to start with the second one regarding the data. We have various data depending on the weather parameters. There are many parameters, and then when it comes to doing on some statistics or correlation with the data from other sectors, it's a joint exercise, and I can just say it is around data sharing. Depending on, if I can just use the example from the health sector, as Muhire said, is coming from that sector. I think the previous exercise regarding using climate information in health sector was around malaria. I think my colleague can just share some information, some online tool where you can just have some information where we are just doing some correlation in collaboration with RBC regarding around malaria, where you can just command data from Meteo Rwanda, a particular temperature and rainfall with some data from the health sector. It was a starting point. Now we are working to expand even to other weather parameters to correlate with the other emerging disease. I think the next step, we agreed to start working on respiratory disease. We combined weather patterns, air quality data, and some data from the health sector. And for sure, for data sharing, we need to harmonize or enhance how we do share the data using, as you provided an example, using some technology to speed up or the data sharing processes. This is an example for some data which are online, which can be used when you are just in your office. Once you are trained, or you can just even ask for support, you can just get some data within your office without making those requests. Even the requests currently are being made online. It is not time consuming, but our division in charge of IT, now they developed an API to share the data depending on the services. The API is ready now. Now it is a matter of connecting to other users. The level of prediction, we are using the names of district or sectors it's a kind of communication. But climate climate information is not following the administrative boundaries. We are using those names. From the map, you can see how the administrative boundaries are not just fitting within the predictions, but we are using the names for communication purposes. I think that's what I wanted to react on that. Thank you.
And Anthony would like also to react on that.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the Kajenza question. Yes. Now we have started a process of co-production. Co-production means you sit with a sector, you hear their needs, and then work out the products which addresses the needs of the user. So we have started it with the different sectors because we need to generate the information which is the impact-based forecast and fit to the purpose. So that is the target we are having. So we are sitting with different institutions and then design the product which is helping them to do their operations as much as they can. Now with regard to the level of prediction and accuracy, well, we are getting the global data which we are using. As of now, we are having the 4-kilometer model which we are using. We use several kind of data. We use data from our network of stations. As we look at the network of the stations we have as of now, it is as if within 10 kilometers we have a station. We have over 300 stations across the country. So we are using that data for the stations. Alongside to that, we are using the global data from the global centers, and the final resolution as of now we are having is the 4-kilometer. Just imagine the information we are using. So it's almost a final resolution. So we are going lower than 4 kilometers. I'm not sure if it can be a sector or a cell or whatever, but we are doing our level best to make sure that you get the information in the location where you are stationed or where you are located. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. The people online, if we have someone online, we can allow him or her to participate. Otherwise, if we have one more question here in the room, and we move to the release of the statement release. Behind, on the table behind, there is a lady.
Thank you so much. My name is Eme Nkurunziza. From the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. Let me also thank you for the good presentations that were made by Meteo. My concern is on the project that Meteo had to add the second radar that could have a big capacity, that we have the other one that we have that will help for the prediction. I would like to hear from Meteo how far it is, if it's still in the pipeline or if we have an information about it. Thank you.
So the DG is ready to react. Hari abantu bari online bari kudusaba no kubabwira ibiri kuvugirwa hano mu Nyarwanda. Mu kanya turakora incamake y'ibyo tumaze kuganira mbere yuko dukomeza. Murakoze.
Thank you, Eme. Regarding the state-of-art instrument or equipment, in our services, there is a need to have state-of-art equipment to improve or to improve the accuracy. But we have to accompany all those equipment with the know-how. As I mentioned regarding the project, currently we do have one weather radar, and we have a new approved project to acquire new weather radars. By next month, we are going to start the feasibility study regarding the mosaicing. Mosaicing means how, if we are just going to install additional weather radars, how are going to work with the previous ones. We are not going to be limited only to the weather radars, because we have other approved projects to acquire other equipment like radio sounding or upper air station. It's another instrument which can just give data for the profile up to 30 kilometers. Those are some examples of the project which have already approved, and they are accompanied with the capacity development of operators. Operators are can just forecaster, but also engineers who are just working with the radar engineers or operators for the upper air stations. We are not limited only to that, because we are also improving the network of automatic weather stations for real-time data monitoring. All those are the source of the data to be added with the satellite data. We do have also satellite receivers. In combination of all those source of the data, it's where all the models are being used by forecaster to increase the accuracy. Hopefully next time when we are going together to be meeting, that accuracy will be above what we have seen today. And then this is a journey. We are just working with all the stakeholders. It is not the effort from Meteor Rwanda only. We are working also with the partners and all stakeholders to have another step forward. Moderator, if you allow us, we can just summarize in Kinyarwanda.
Yes, please.
Munyemereye wenda natangira. Twatangiye tuvuga ko ari iby'agaciro kuba turi kumwe namwe kuri uyu munsi, ndetse no mu rugendo tumazemo iminsi kirekire rwo gutegura, haba guhera gufata ibipimo, gutegura amakuru no kuyasesengura no kuyageza ku bantu bose, kuko ibyo byiciro byose tuba turi kumwe n'abafatanyabikorwa. Abenshi mukaba muri hano muhagarariwe. N'urugendo tubashimira rw'igihe cyose, kandi ruba rukomeye. Tubiha agaciro umwanya mwaduhaye mu gutangira gufata ibipimo, uko bibikwa, uko bisesengurwa, bikavamo amakuru n'igihe cyo kuyageza ku nzego zose ziyakoresha. Kuri uyu munsi twabanje kugaragaza ishusho y'uko igihembwe cy'ubushize cyagenze, aricyo gihembwe cy'umuhindo, cyagaragayemo imvura nyinshi nk'uko yari iteganijwe, niko byagenze. Hagaragaye n'inzego zitandukanye zerekana uko zakoresheje ayo amakuru n'uko zikomeje kuyakoresha. Hari inzego za leta, harimo n'imishinga ndetse n'abantu ku giti cyabo. Hari n'ibibazo twabajijwe uyu munsi, cyane cyane bijyanye n'imikorere y'uko ayo makuru ategurwa. Ahanini byagarukaga ku ubwizerwe bw'aya makuru, aho twagaragaje ikigero tugezeho kiri hejuru ya 80%. Hari n'ikibazo wenda twari dusorejeho kijyanye n'ibikoresho bikomeza kwiyongera, ibikoresho bigezweho bikomeza kwiyongera, ariko tunibanda none no ku bumenyi bw'ababikoresha, abakora mu byiciro bitegura amakuru. Ariko hari n'icyiciro tutagomba kwibagirwa cy'abakoresha amakuru. Hari urugero rwagaragaye mu mushinga wa Green Gicumbi, aho bagaragazaga n'uburyo abakoresha ayo makuru nabo bagenda bazamurirwa urugero. Ariko dusaba abafatanyabikorwa bose ko muri izo gahunda bajya babiteganya no kuzamurira urwego rw'abakoresha ayo makuru. N'urugendo tuzafatanya twese nk'abafatanyabikorwa, kugira ngo hatagira urwego na rumwe rwasigara inyuma cyangwa abantu basigara inyuma mu gukoresha amakuru, kuko amakuru ashobora kuba ateguye ari meza, akanagera no ku bantu, ariko ntamenye uburyo yakoresha muri gahunda. Gahunda twavuga ko ari haba gutangira mu gihe cy'igenamigambi cyangwa no mu gushyira mu bikorwa igenamigambi riba ryateguwe. Munyemerere ubwo mwanyunganira kubyo wenda ntaba ngarutseho. Murakoze.
Ngo byose ubivuze mu ncamake, ibindi kwarugaruka ku bibazo abantu bagiye babaza ikibazo ku kindi, ariko ntekereza ko kubisobanuye ariko byagenze. Hari umuntu dufite kuri Webex online, Enoch yazamuye akaboko, mwamwakira nawe tukumva igitekerezo cye. Enoch, tuguteze amatwi. Bo kubanga bw'inyuma dufashe Enoch tumwumve. Enoch, wihangane wongere utangire igitekerezo cyawe cyangwa ikibazo. Arakoze cyane Enoch, kugira ngo iki gitekerezo cyumvikanye kandi cyanditswe, kumenya gukoresha ururimi abantu bose bumva. Ntabwo ururimi avuga ari Ikinyarwanda cyangwa Icyongereza, ahubwo ni ururimi rwumvikana umuturage wese yakumva. Munyemerere dukomeze gahunda yacu. As it was mentioned on the agenda, let us proceed with the release statement of March to May 2024 seasonal forecast. Umuyobozi mukuru wa Meteo agiye kutugezaho uko aya mezi atatu ari imbere azaba ahagaze mu bijyanye n'iteganyagihe. Umwanya n'uwanyu. Hano harimo amakuru, nyamuneka muyiteho.
Rakoze moderator, Honorable Minister, Excellency Ambassador of Federal Republic of Germany, all protocol observed. Allow me to start this statement in Kinyarwanda, and thereafter I will just read the statement in English. Iteganyagihe ry'igihembwe cy'itumba Werurwe Mata Gicurasi 2024. Ikigo cy'u Rwanda gishinzwe ubumenyi bw'ikirere Meteo Rwanda kinejejwe no gutangariza abaturarwanda bose ko itumba rya 2024 muri rusange riteganyijwemo imvura iri hejuru gato isanzwe igwa mu itumba. Imvura isanzwe igwa mu itumba iri hagati ya milimetero 200 na milimetero 700 mu gihugu. Imvura iteganijwe izaturuka hanini ku bushyuhe bwo mu nyanja ngari, cyane cyane ya Pasifika, bukiri hejuru muri iki gihembwe cy'itumba rya 2024. Bigatuma henshi mu karere u Rwanda ruherereyemo ndetse no mu bice byinshi by'igihugu hateganijwe imvura iri hejuru gato y'imvura isanzwe igwa hagati y'ukwezi kwa Werurwe na Gicurasi. Imyaka yabonetsemo imvura ijya gusa n'iteganijwe mu itumba rya 2024 n'itumba ryo muri 2010 n'itumba ryo muri 2016. Ingano y'imvura iteganijwe mu gihembwe cy'itumba 2024 hashingiye ku miterere ya buri karere. Imvura iri hagati ya milimetero 300 na 400 iteganyijwe henshi mu turere twa Nyagatare na Gatsibo no majyaruguru y'akarere ka Kayonza. Imvura iri hagati ya milimetero 400 na 500 iteganyijwe mu karere ka Kirehe, mu bice byinshi by'akarere ka Kayonza, igice gito cy'uburengerazuba bw'uturere twa Nyagatare na Gatsibo, mu burasirazuba n'amajyaruguru y'akarere ka Rwamagana, amajyepfo n'uburengerazuba bw'akarere ka Ngoma, ibice byinshi by'akarere ka Bugesera n'amajyepfo y'uburasirazuba bw'akarere ka Gicumbi. Imvura iri hagati ya milimetero 500 na 600 iteganyijwe mu mujyi wa Kigali, amajyepfo y'akarere ka Rwamagana, amajyaruguru y'akarere ka Ngoma, uburengerazuba bw'akarere ka Bugesera, ibice byinshi by'uturere twa Kamonyi, Gisagara, Ruhango, Nyanza, amajyepfo y'uturere twa Muhanga na Ngororero ndetse n'uburasirazuba bw'uturere twa Huye na Nyaruguru. Imvura iri hagati ya milimetero 600 na 700 iteganyijwe mu karere ka Rutsiro, amajyepfo y'uturere twa Rubavu na Gakenke, ibice byinshi by'uturere twa Rulindo na Gicumbi, uburengerazuba bw'uturere twa Huye, Nyamasheke, Rusizi na Nyanza, amajyaruguru y'uburasirazuba bw'akarere ka Nyamagabe, ibice byo hagati mu karere ka Muhanga n'amajyaruguru y'akarere ka Ngororero. Imvura iri hagati ya milimetero 700 na 800 iteganijwe mu burasirazuba bw'uturere twa Rusizi na Nyamasheke, amajyepfo y'akarere ka Karongi, uburengerazuba bw'uturere twa Nyamagabe na Nyaruguru, mu turere twa Musanze na Nyabihu, amajyaruguru n'uburengerazuba bw'uturere twa Gakenke na Burera, amajyaruguru y'uburasirazuba bw'akarere ka Rubavu no mu bice byo kundiza muri Muhanga. Itangira ry'imvura y'Itumba 2024 n'igihe izacikira. Imvura yakomeje kuboneka muri Mutarama na Gashyantare, ari cyo gihe cy'urugaryi, kandi biragaragara ko izakomeza no mu gihe cy'Itumba. Hateganijwe ko imvura y'Itumba izacika mu cyumweru cya gatatu cya Gicurasi 2024 mu karere ka Kirehe, mu burasirazuba n'amajyepfo by'akarere ka Ngoma, igice gito cy'amajyepfo y'akarere ka Bugesera n'igice gito cy'iburasirazuba bw'akarere ka Gisagara. Hateganijwe ko imvura izacika mu cyumweru cya kane cya Gicurasi 2024 henshi mu ntara y'amajyepfo, umujyi wa Kigali no mu bice by'uturere twa Rwamagana, Bugesera, Ngoma na Kayonza. Hateganijwe ko imvura y'Itumba 2024 izacika mu cyumweru cya mbere cya Kamena mu bindi bice bisigaye by'igihugu. Ubutumwa bugenewe abaturarwanda ku ngaruka zishobora guterwa n'imvura iteganijwe mu gihembwe cy'Itumba 2024. Bitewe n'imvura nyinshi yaguye mu Muhindo umwaka ushize, kuvuga mu Nzeri Ukuboza 2023, igakomeza no mu Rugaryi ari Mutarama Mutarama na Gashyantare 2024, yatumye ubutaka busoma mu bice byinshi by'igihugu. Dushingiye kandi ku mvura iteganyijwe mu Itumba rya 2024 nayo izaba iri hejuru gato y'impuzandengo y'igihe kirekire y'imvura iboneka mu Itumba, Ikigo cy'u Rwanda gishinzwe ubumenyi bw'ikirere Meteo Rwanda ku bufatanye na Minisiteri y'Ibidukikije, Minisiteri ishinzwe ibikorwa by'ubutabazi, Ikigo cy'u Rwanda gishinzwe iterambere ry'ubuhinzi n'ubworozi, birasaba inzego zose za leta, imiryango idaharanira inyungu, imishinga itandukanye ikorera mu Rwanda, ibigo by'abikorera ku giti cyabo ndetse n'abaturarwanda bose muri rusange ko bakwiriye gushingira kuri iteganyagihe bagafata ingamba zijyanye no gukumira ingaruka zituruka ku mvura nyinshi iteganije mu Itumba rya 2024, zirimo kwihutisha ibikorwa by'isarura no gufata neza umusaruro, kwita ku bikorwa byo kurwanya isuri, kwita ku bikorwa remezo cyane cyane gusibura imigende n'imiyoboro y'amazi, gufata amazi no kuyayobora ahabugenewe, guhinga ku gihe hakurikijwe ingengabihe itangwa n'abashinzwe ibikorwa by'iyamamazabuhinzi, gufata ingamba zo kurwanya indwara n'ibyonnyi biterwa n'imvura nyinshi, kwitwararika ahakorerwa imirimo y'ubucukuzi bw'amabuye na kariyeri, kuzirika ibisenge, kubahiriza amabwiriza yo kwirinda gukubitwa n'inkuba, byaba na ngombwa bakimuka ahantu hashyira ubuzima bwabo mu kaga nko munsi y'imikingo, ahantu hahanamye no mu nzu zangiritse bigaragara ko zamaze kwinjiramo amazi. Abakeneye ibindi bisobanuro birambuye kuri iteganyagihe n'uburyo ryakoreshwa barasabwa kwegera Ikigo cy'u Rwanda gishinzwe ubumenyi bw'ikirere hakoreshwa imbuga nkoranyambaga zitandukanye cyangwa bagahamagara kuri nimero itishyurwa ya 6080. Iri teganyagihe rikomeza gukoreshwa ryunganirwa n'irindi risanzwe ritangwa buri kwezi, iminsi 10, iminsi 7, iminsi 5, iminsi 3, iteganyagihe rya buri munsi ndetse n'iteganyagihe riburira iyo baye ngombwa. bikorewe i Kigali kwa 23 Gashyantare 2024. Honorable Ministers, Excellency Ambassador, all protocols observed, allow me to deliver the seasonal forecast for March, April, May 2024. The Rwanda Meteorology Agency, Meteo Rwanda, is pleased to release the seasonal climate outlook forecast for March to May rainfall season of 2024. This forecast is based on extensive analysis of the atmospheric and oceanic conditions, which provided valuable information for planning and decision-making purposes. The national consensus on climate outlook for March to May 2024 season indicates higher chances of above normal rainfall conditions influenced by global, regional, and local patterns. The key factors influencing rainfall during March to May 2024 season are the persistent El Niño conditions in the Pacific Ocean. The ENSO episodes are usually characterized by wetter than normal rainfall over East African region, including Rwanda. The selected analog years for March to May 2024 season are the year 2010 and the year 2016. Different districts are anticipated to receive various amounts of rainfall as follows. Rainfall ranging between 300 and 400 millimeters is expected in the northern part of Kayonza, as well as most part of Gatsibo and Nyagatare districts. Rainfall ranging between 400 and 500 millimeters is expected over Kirehe district in most parts of Kayonza, western parts of Nyagatare and Gatsibo districts, eastern and northern part of Rwamagana, southern and western part of Ngoma, most part of Bugesera, and southeastern part of Gicumbi district. Rainfall ranging between 500 and 600 millimeters is expected in the city of Kigali, southern parts of Rwamagana, northern parts of Ngoma, western part of Bugesera, most parts of Kamonyi, Gisagara, Ruhango, Nyanza, southern parts of Muhanga and Ngororero, as well as eastern parts of Hui and Nyaruguru districts. Rainfall ranging between 600 and 700 millimeters is expected over Rutsiro, parts of Rubavu, Lurindo, Gicumbi, western parts of Huye, Nyamasheke, Rusizi and Nyanza, eastern parts of Nyamagabe, central part of Muhanga, and northern parts of Ngororero district. Rainfall ranging between 700 and 800 millimeters is expected in eastern part of Rusizi and Nyamasheke, southern part of Karongi, western part of Nyamagabe and Nyaruguru districts, and over Musanze and Nyabihu, northern and western part of Gakenke and Burera, northeastern part of Rubavu, and this area of Muhanga district. The onset and cessation of March to May 2024 rainfall season. Due to persistent rainfall from January up to February 2024, rainfall pattern is expected to continue in the upcoming March to May season. The cessation of March to May rainfall season, third week, the rainfall is expected to end during the third week of May 2024 in Kirehe and eastern part of Ngoma, Gisagara and Bugesera district. Is expected to end during the fourth week of May in city of Kigali, eastern part of southern province, Bugesera, Rwamagana, Kayonza, and remaining parts of Ngoma district. Is expected to end during the first week of June in the western and northern provinces, western parts of southern provinces, as well as in Nyagatare district. Advisories on expected above normal rainfall for March to May season. The accumulated rainfall from September to December 2023 and January to February 2024 resulted in increased saturation of the soil across the country. The seasonal rainfall for March to May 2024 is expected to be above normal, which is an indication of high likelihood of extreme weather events which are associated with localized flooding, landslide, and strong wind in different parts of the country. Meteor Rwanda, in collaboration with the Minister of Environment, Minister in charge of Emergency Management, and the Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Board, advised the public institution, NGO, private sector, and general public to take note of the forecast and use it to make informed plans and decisions such as appropriate harvesting and post-harvesting handling activities, timely planting, rainwater harvesting, drainage, erosion control, precautions in mining areas, lightning protection measures, as well as relocate from disaster-prone areas to a more safer areas. Meteor Rwanda, in collaboration with other partners, will continue to support different initiatives aimed at availing weather and climate products for effective planning and decision-making, especially in flood-prone areas. For more information, contact Rwanda Meteorology Agency on social media and toll-free number 6080. This outlook is supplemented by weather updates at the different time scale, 24 hours, 3 days, 5 days, and 7 days, 10 days forecasts, monthly forecasts, and advisory issued by Rwanda Meteorology Agency. Done at Kigali on 23rd February 2024. Thank you.
Arakoze cyane deje asoje ku kintu cyiza cyane asaba inzego zose bireba gukoresha aya makuru muri gahunda zabo ziri imbere. Let's use all the information that we have today for our planning for the next season. Thank you. So now let's proceed for another presentation. This one will be online. From Dr. Lisa Morgan. She's coming from the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, and she will help us to understand the high-resolution climate projections for agriculture impact assessment in Rwanda. Dr. Lisa, good morning, and the floor is yours. Good morning.
From Germany. I hope that you can all hear me and also see me.
We can hear you.
And should I share my presentation, or can you already see it? Okay, I will just go forward and share my presentation then. Okay, so thank you very much for having me at this kickoff event for our new project. My name is Lisa Morgan. I'm co-leading the working group Adaptation and Agricultural Systems at the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research. And it's a great pleasure today to briefly present our institute to you, and then to also briefly introduce this joint project that we are now starting together with GIZ and Meteor Rwanda, and also with other scientific partners in the country. And then later on today, my two colleagues who are there with you in the room, Sophie von Löwen and Stephanie Gleixner, they will provide more detail on this project. So I would like to start very briefly introducing our institute. The Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, as the name says, has as principal objective to study the impacts of climate change globally, but then also to design solutions both with regard to mitigation but also adaptation to tackle this global challenge. On this slide, on the right-hand side at the top, you can see an image from our main building in Potsdam, close to Berlin. This is where we are based. At PIC, we have more than 400 people currently working. More than 250 are scientists. And our strategic aim is to study how we can keep the Earth within the planetary boundaries, how we can use the natural resources, the global commons that we have on Earth, within a safe operating space. You can see on the left-hand side here an image that represents the different global commons that we have. Our specific research focus within our group is on agriculture and land. And then on the right-hand side, you see the different planetary boundaries depicted. And our focus especially is on climate change, but then also land system change and freshwater use. And you also see a few more numbers. So I already mentioned the number of staff that we have. Our funding comes partly from third-party funding, partly institutional funding. And then our main output at the Institute is, of course, scientific articles. So we publish in peer-reviewed journals. But what is also very important to us is to communicate our findings to different audiences, to engage with policymakers, with decision makers, to make our research useful within this broader sphere of climate policy and climate planning. The Institute is structured in 4 different research departments. The first one is Earth. So within this department, our colleagues are studying how the Earth system works and what the biophysical boundaries are. Sorry, I'm hearing a lot of background noise. I hope that you can all hear me well. If not, please give a sign. So this first department is studying the biophysical boundaries and also the safe operating space for human development. The second research department is called Climate Resilience, and this is the department that we are based in. So in this department, we are studying change in also the global problems within boundaries. The third research department is researching options for transformation pathways for sustainable development, and they are also comparing these pathways with unsustainable pathways. Okay, I see a hand up. Please just come in if you have a question or comment. I see a hand up from Rwanda. Would you like to ask a question now or comment now, or should I continue?
Go ahead.
Dr. Lisa, you can proceed. No worries, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Then I would just briefly, so the fourth research department that we have complexity science. This department developed new methods, new principles to better understand the full complexity of the Earth system and also of this global challenge of staying within the planetary boundaries while using our natural resources, our global commons. Now, in our research group, over the last years, we have developed a research agenda that centers on supporting the need for science-based adaptation planning. It focuses on providing risk-informed and science-based information that can support climate change, adaptation, and NDC investment planning. You can see here a flow chart that depicts the approach that we are taking in those type of analysis. So we have developed an approach to climate risk analysis, which moves from an impact component to an action component while also considering uncertainty. In this approach, we are first studying how climate change is projected to affect especially the agricultural sector, but also hydrological cycles and adjacent sectors. Then we are studying how specific adaptation strategies can be used to mitigate those projected climate impacts. And then we are also clearly stating which level of uncertainty is attached to those analyses. Those analyses are mainly model-based, but we also include socioeconomic empirical analysis to try to understand the climate impacts and also the option space for adaptation as holistically as possible. You can see a map here on the right-hand side, which shows all the countries on the African continent that we have so far worked in. And we also work in Central Asia and Latin America partly, but our focus is on tropical agriculture. So we have a lot of different research projects on the African continent. And the figure here in the lower part of the slide just highlights, so this is here for temperature, that in our analysis we always use different scenarios. So especially a high emissions and a low emissions scenario to better understand the full scope of impacts, the full breadth of possible pathways. And yeah, the principal aim of these analyses is to inform policy processes for the updates and the investment planning to engage with policymakers, decision makers in designing those analyses and conducting them. Now, sorry. We've been actually one for quite some time to also apply this approach that we developed to Rwanda, but we've always had the challenge that Rwanda has such a complex topography that it was difficult to fully capture this with our standard approach and with our standard data. On the left-hand side here of the slide, you can see an example. So this is precipitation using our standard PIC data, which has a 50-kilometer resolution, so it is relatively coarse. And you can see that it cannot capture the complexity of Rwanda's topography very well. So now what we will be doing in this project is to downscale this data to a 1 kilometer resolution. And you can see a first example on the right-hand side here. This is also precipitation to a 1 kilometer resolution, and you can see that the result is already much better. It can much better represent the topography of Rwanda. So within this new project that we are starting now, we together with Rwandan partners downscale climate data and then feed that into impact models to study the projected impact of climate change on different aspects of agriculture in Rwanda. The project is funded and was initiated by GIZ. It will be running until September next year. And the main aim, as already said, is to strengthen climate science for improved adaptation planning. And we will be doing this in close collaboration with scientific partners from Rwanda, so with Meteo Rwanda, but also with other partners. And we also hope that this project can foster scientific collaboration between Rwandan and German researchers. In fact, we're really very much looking forward to that. We also hope to engage with policy and decision makers, both from Germany, but also Rwanda on this topic. And yeah, we're looking very much forward to this project. With that, I will already close. If you have any questions, then of course, please raise them. Otherwise, my two colleagues will also present the whole project and the different steps that we're going to take in more detail later on, as I understand, in a dedicated session on that. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for your work. I know you'll be having a lot of work around the project. As you say, the collaboration between Rwanda and Germany will always be the key for your project. Thank you very much. So now I would like to welcome Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Germany to Rwanda. Your Excellency, it's you, the Minister will come after for your remarks. Thank you very much.
Mudaunesa. Guten Morgen, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister of State, dear DG, dear representatives from Potsdamer Klimaforschungsfolgeninstitut, dear government partners, GIZ participants, organizers, everyone. I'm truly happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me. I think it's extremely when what you're doing and what you're working on, because it really touches, I mean, it touches the very basis of people's lives. And I was just impressed only in these few moments here this morning how holistic your approach is. I mean, to have really actors from different sectors here. So, yeah, thank you very much. It's I'm still learning everything every day. So, very impressed this morning. Rwanda is known for its dedicated ownership over its ambitious climate agenda, which has translated into credible national strategies and mechanisms for implementing climate action programs. Just to mention a few, the Green Growth and Climate Resilience Strategy, IREME Invest, Inhigo NDC Facility, and so on. Rwanda is also very active in key global fora and institutions on addressing climate change. And in our view, Rwanda is really playing a key leadership role on international level. So Germany and myself is pleased to work with such an ambitious partner. And yeah, you might all know that we have a very profound climate partnership between Rwanda and Germany. A partnership that, since it came into being, is involving an always greater number of German federal ministries and actors and Rwandan partners. And we are just very happy to see this partnership grow and blossom. A key component is the bilateral climate and development partnership, which aims at supporting Rwanda in the implementation of its climate objectives. The envelope of this partnership currently amounts to more than 220 million euro for investments and projects on NDC implementation and sustainable urban development, and this is complemented by a significant regional energy portfolio, as well as a nascent climate science and research cooperation. And I mean, this is why PIC is here. I'm really pleased that this climate science and research cooperation brings us together today. After it was launched at COP27 in Egypt years ago, with the Honorable Minister of Environment and the German Minister of Development, Ms. Svenja Schulze. Indeed, to achieve a climate resilient and green economic future, climate science and research plays a crucial role. There's a clear need and international commitment to support climate action with scientific knowledge. The International Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, is one of the leading bodies in this regard. October last year, October 23, the Climate Science Conference on the World Climate Research Program of the World Meteorological Organization took place in Kigali. A key outcome of this conference which takes place, if I'm well informed, only every 10 years, was the Kigali Declaration entitled Climate Science for a Sustainable Future for All, which calls upon all actors to further support and make use of climate science. Germany and Rwanda both recognize the need for using strong scientific knowledge on climate change as foundation for every evidence-based policy action, especially in the context like in Europe of the whole environment with misinformation and so on. So we need strong scientific knowledge. Germany and Rwanda also recognize the role of gender in the climate science debate, in line with the Lima Work Program on Gender and the Gender Action Plan, which had been adopted by COP25 in Madrid. The social and climate sciences point out that the effects of climate change affect the sexes differently and must therefore be taken into account, both in climate research and in very concrete measures. And if I may add, this doesn't only hold true for the effects of climate change, but for many other sectors as well. German feminist foreign and development policies take into account this dimension. This brings me back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bilateral Climate Science and Research Cooperation. In Germany, over the centuries, several climate research institutions have evolved, and it makes me very proud that Germany in this area is globally a leader. And I'm also happy to state that the most outstanding of these institutions is the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research. So I'm very happy and pleased to have you so actively involved here today. It's a German government-funded institute, and I think you just had the presentation, so I say no more on PIC. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm truly delighted that the research cooperation between PIC and Meteo Rwanda is now taking off. I'm sure that it will provide cutting-edge modeling of the future climate in Rwanda with a never-before-seen level of detail, which will be extremely valuable. Especially, well, as the conditions in Rwanda, Milcolin, it's very specific, and the topography is so complex. So I think for you, this must also be interesting, isn't it? Yes. So you all know that it's relevant to all sectors, and many of the actors are here today. Nowadays, medium to long-term decisions for planning, investments, and raising of climate finance require climate modeling in order to make them as future-proof as possible. So I think this is an area where the practical scientific cooperation between Meteo Rwanda and PIC is of extreme relevance. So to conclude, just let me wish this workshop and the cooperation over the next months a great success. And yeah, I think everyone is looking forward to seeing the fruits of this cooperation. Murakoze cyane.
Urakoze cyane nawe ambassador, bakongera amashyi menshi cyane. Thank you for your insightful remarks. As we conclude, let me take this opportunity to welcome the guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of State for the Environment, for her closing remarks.
Thank you, Basil. Thank you, Excellency Ambassador, for this really meaningful message and the appreciation. We acknowledge also just the support provided by Germany. And we know that we're just implementing a number of projects, and they can highlight this one that's about enhancing capacity when it comes to the implementation of our national determined contribution, and just which aim at providing, generating information just to make these good projections. Thank you very much. Yeah, then I can provide my remarks. Excellency Ambassador of Germany in Rwanda, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you to this Climate Outlook Forum, which aims at disseminating information about the weather expected over the March to May 2024. The seasonal climate prediction is a decision support tool used by people from all walks of life to protect lives and their property. And seasonal forecasts are generated using historical meteorological records for over 40 years. The generated forecast is downscaled at grassroots level to address the needs of end users who require forecasts at specific small scale. Weather and climate forecasts are generated at different range of time, namely short range, which is 1 minute through to 3 days, medium range, which is about 3 days to 14 days, and long range, which is about 14 days to 3 months. The generated products are utilized by different socio-economic sectors. And the country, as we all know, was recently affected by weather and the extreme climate extremes. Here we can highlight floods that struck the western and northern parts of the country in 2023. And this caused losses of lives, properties, and the other fatalities, all we know. And when landslides occurred in the northern part of the country in 2015, 2016, numerous lives were lost in a similar scenario. Then to tackle the issue of climate change, the government of Rwanda, in partnership with other stakeholders, including Germany, is implementing projects aimed at generating high-resolution scientific climate projections that will be used by different stakeholders to assess future climate change risk. In order to spread weather and climate information, Meteo Rwanda has put in place a variety of communication channels. Here we can say those include, but are not limited to, the toll-free number, which is 6080, social media extension service, show talks, weather presentations on radio and TV stations, SMS, websites, and email. And when I remember some of the questions were just to ask how this dissemination was done, since it seems that the big public is really, they have appetite on this meteo data, which really show how this information is really very much helpful just to help planning, to do better in the integrated planning. Co-production and climate services with industry like mining, energy, agriculture, water resources, and disaster management, to name a few. This project has enhanced the applications of climate and weather customized for particular industries and anticipated to benefit numerous industries. The use of data and climate information is crucial for helping citizens adapt to the extreme and climate change, which are having a significant influence on both economic empowerment and national development. Every partner here in attendance is cordially invited to begin utilizing weather and climate goods to enhance means of subsistence and sustainable development. By working together, we can reduce the effect of climate change. I thank you for your kind attention.
Akoze cyane Honorable Minister. Amatangazo nk'abiri. These remarks will be followed by a group photo outside. And then after the picture, we'll be having a lunch. But before the lunch, for the media people who are here, we'll be having a media briefing. The DG is ready to explain what you will be asking. So I would like to thank you very much. Thank you for your kind attention. It was my absolute pleasure to be the MC for today. Mwakoze cyane. Let's go outside for the picture, and then after we'll be discussing outside. Thank you very much. Even the afternoon, we have more sessions